We all stand I'd like to call to order the regular Board of Education meeting of Tuesday, December 8th, 2015. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everybody. Doing good.
Doing great.
Doing great. This is our only meeting of December, and today is a chance for the public to comment, if anyone has any public comment. Good. Administration.
Just a couple of quick announcements. Today is the last day for our employee engagement survey. I know the board was getting some of those emails, and so last chance to fill that out. And we'll be getting that data back right before break, and then we'll have a report back to the board on that in January. So it's some good data for us to look at. We are also going to have focus groups over break. You'll start hearing about our interest in developing some focus groups to talk to various stakeholders within our community on the 25th and 26th of January about the bond campaign itself, and then ultimately to what types of information do they want to be kept informed of about the bond. So it's a way for us to really kind of dive in with a smaller group setting around that. So that's something we plan on doing on 25th and 26th of those dates. And then Thursday, day after tomorrow, if you're going to be at Briarwood Mall, be ready for 203 Saline Area School students who will be there with the annual Christmas shopping event. Our program with our special needs students and students from our cadet teaching program and our connecting teaching program go and support the day of shopping at Briarwood Mall. It's quite an event, so Kevin's been a part of that for many years. And so if we do have an opportunity, it is a kind of a special event that is unique to Saline.
Board of Education members?
I apologize, I did not make it to the meeting this morning. Was there anything?
There was no big announcement. They are continuing the process to seek a foundation executive director. They're down to one finalist. That person will be contacted shortly to begin that process. And so they hope to be able to act on that issue in January.
Trustee Dele and I attended a class on superintendent evaluation at Michigan Association of School Boards on a Saturday. It was a nicely done class, so we're meeting with Steve and Kurt to be sure evaluations flow through the district well from the new changes in the law. So we'll have some changes in Scott's evaluation this year. Since we didn't like the old form, hopefully we'll like the new form. All good stuff. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda as printed?
So moved.
Support?
All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
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 Those opposed? Hearing none, motion carries 7-0. Later we'll start. Scheduled reports, the school bus safety inspection report.
I'd like to
Yes.
turn it over to Kurt.
As you know, our school buses are inspected on an annual basis by the Michigan State Police, and you've heard in previous presentations that we don't have the newest fleet in town. No pun intended about the town part, but at any rate, I am proud to report to you that the Michigan State Police have certified that 95% or higher of our school buses received a pass rating, and that's an outstanding thing. We've had that streak going on for several years now, and so certainly that's a reflection of Patty's leadership, but also Patrick Edwards, and I never say his name right, David Malashevsky.
Got it.
How about that for a little Polish heritage? My wife would be happy. So I'd like to present this certificate to Patty on behalf of the district and the Michigan State Police, and thank her again for another job well done.
Yay.
Thank you, Karen.
So were there any issues of significance or?
Okay, now, you want to
No,
talk
it's a
about?
yellow light,
Yeah.
the only yellow tag on one bus, so yeah, we did very well for the condition. We did opt not to send a few of the buses through that we are not presently driving in the fleet, that will be sent to scrap.
Retired.
Scrap.
Can
sorry.
they go to the high school to make art projects out of?
No, you know, we might look for a fire department again.
Yeah, we'll take one.
You know, Pittsfield would like one too, so for the 1,300, it's really a great practice for the fire departments to have.
Any other questions? Chinese exchange program report.
Turn over to Dr. Helberg.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited to be able to talk to you a little bit about our Chinese exchange program. Many of you know that I was able to go to China with BCC International and some delegates here from the United States to go tour some areas in China where BCC would like to have sister agreements with Saline area schools to have their students come over and take coursework here in Saline. And so BCC International Educational Group is the founding group that does this kind of work. When we went to China, we went to 3 areas, Chongqing, Beijing, and Shenyang. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but our students can let me know. But Shenyang is where our students are from, and they're here with us tonight, and I will introduce them in just a few minutes. They're from a school called Northeast USI International School, and these students have had Michigan curriculum over there to prepare them to come here and take our curriculum here at Saline High School. So they have, the goal really is to have students come to American high schools and graduate from an American high school, but also have the opportunity to go to an American college. So that's really the goal with BCC. For us, our goal was looking at diversity amongst our student population, looking at broadening our cultural competencies, which is part of our strategic framework. And we see a real benefit from having students from China in our school. And certainly we have 5 students from Shenyang, China here this year. And in addition to that, we have 5 other foreign exchange students from other countries that are here. So the students come during their junior year. We have 5 students, and if you'll stand up, that would be great. 5 students stand up. So we have Michael, just give away Michael, Jason, Linda, Winnie, and Robert. And if you could, can you tell them what your Chinese name is?
My Chinese name is Liu Mai Shu.
Okay.
Zhang Yingfan. Zhang Shilei.
And so they're here with us this year in their classes that they're taking at the junior level, and they're just like any classes that other students take at the junior level. And I did want to ask if one of them would be willing to say just a few words about their experience so far. So Robert, would you like to say a few words? Come on.
I see.
Sure.
We are very appreciated to come here to have education here, and I very like our program because we arrived here before the school opened, a week before, so we can visit the Saline and our UFM. Yes, it's very beautiful. Yes, and we have a lot of activity together, and like the festival, the Moon Festival. Yes, and here in Saline High School, we are very happy because we can learn a lot of things in China we can't learn. In here, like the AutoCAD, engineering, yes, and we can learn US government, health education, environmental science. It's very good. Thank you.
Anyone else want to say a few words? Jason does.
First, I want to say these 3 months is really fantastic, and in my American life is totally different between the China, but I still can make a lot of friends, and Saline's teacher is very well. They help me a lot, but I have some advice about the Saline High School is because we are not here in the 10th and 9th grade, and so basketball team we cannot join it. So I want give us some chance to join the team. Yeah.
I think that's really good advice, and I've talked to BCC about the possibility of having that happen as well. So.
Thank you.
And Jason and I met in China, right?
Yeah.
And gave you that hat.
Yeah.
So I was able to meet him in his school in China, so that was exciting before they ended up coming here. So you can sit down. So right now, so what happens is they join us for their junior year, and then next year it's expected that when they come back next year, that they will enroll in college or university, and they have to do that on an F1 visa because we can only have the students, exchange students for 1 year at our school. And so we have to bring them back, and they then enroll in college, and we would provide some elective courses for them. So we're currently trying to work out that process with the other districts that are involved. And so there are 6 participating districts in the state of Michigan in this. There are Oxford Community Schools, Ovid, LC area schools, L'Anse Creuse, West Bloomfield, Dexter, and Saline. And so we're currently sort of working out the year 2 of the program. And I think, you know, these 5 students came over in their junior year. They're the first crew kind of coming through, and the first group that's they're trying to match Michigan curriculum over in China so that they can bring it here. So there's some articulation there, and so they're very brave for being the first group, and they are adjusting well to Saline High School. The very first football game, they were all sat at the very top of the bleachers together, and the student section was down probably 10 seats, and at the last game they were right down with the students, and so I call that some success. They're integrated into our school system and feeling very much a part of Saline High School. We do have, so the students when they come here are placed with host families, and I would really be remiss not to mention our host families. This couldn't be possible without them stepping up and supporting Saline schools in this effort. And so we have the Elms family, and the Elms family, there you go, Lisa's here, and they are hosting Linda right now. And so we have the Gligorich, I always want to say Gilgerich, but it's Gligorich family. Could you just stand up for a second, Marilyn? And Marilyn has Robert staying with them. The Lambert family has Michael and Jason with them, so they took 2 at a time, along with, I think, their 4 other children, so they have a full house right now. And the Reeves family, who is here as well, have Linda with them, or have Winnie with them, I'm sorry, Winnie is with them. And so we just thank them so much for taking these students and offering them this experience. It's been great having them in our school, and I think that they're benefiting, but we're also benefiting greatly from them being here. So it's a great opportunity for us, yes.
Ms. Hyde's here, it's kind of, can you explain kind of her role?
Yeah, and I would like for her to say a few
Oh, okay.
words. Tanya Hike has actually been sort of our ambassador at Saline High School in terms of coordinating many of the extra programs for our students. And so Tanya, if you can come up and just tell us a few things about what your role is and how you're supporting our Chinese students at the high school, that would be great.
Hello. I love microphones. So I had the privilege of working with these students when they first came over. We met them when they got off the bus, and I got to work with them the whole first week before school started and keep them entertained. Took them to the mall, we took them to the movies, we gave them a tour of U of M Stadium. We did a whole lot of other things too, went to the rec center. And then I helped them get adjusted to the school itself. I helped them pick out classes. We went through the course selection book together and tried to figure out what classes would best suit them, what they might be interested in that they would never have the opportunity to take if they were back home. And we made a schedule from there. And once school started, I helped them navigate the school building. I attended physics class with them this last trimester. It was a little bit more rigorous course, and I helped them stay on track by sending weekly or bi-weekly emails home whenever we started a new section in the course, and kept everybody on track. And at the beginning of the year, we were really struggling. Everything was brand new. But by the end of the semester, Mr. Frederick sent an email to all of the parents saying that they had become the top of their class. And so that was a very successful venture. Right now, I'm in the process of organizing with Mr. Ruckman, the school counselor, a meeting on setting up on how to navigate college, what to look for, what we might be interested in. We're going to meet with all 5 of them on December 15th to start talking about college and how that whole process works. And is there anything else you would like to know?
Maybe this is a dumb question, but, so they're juniors now, but they're
Correct.
doing college next year?
Like dual enrollment type, or, yeah.
They'll come back and do college next year. The majority of their classes will have to, because they'll come back on an F1 visa, it's kind of the way the rules work. But in order to graduate high school, we have to look at articulation between what the college offers and what we require for high school. So that's what we're currently doing in collaboration with Dexter and Washtenaw Community College, Eastern Michigan, U of M. We're just trying to see where the best fit is and where we can make those cooperative agreements.
So did they get together with the students from Dexter and, or did they?
Yeah,
know
we
each other?
did at the beginning of the school year, and they did, were they together for the festival? In September, yeah, at the end of September, we had a festival, Chinese festival, and we probably will plan some more events where they're all together as well, especially with Christmas break coming up and things like that.
So, again, Karen's question, they will get a Celine diploma eventually?
That's the goal.
Okay.
Next year.
And the next
After
year?
next
Okay.
year.
All right.
Okay.
And then just to let you know, the end of January, the same school is sending 20 new students here for a week. They're 8th, 9th, and 10th graders. Celine will get 10, Dexter is getting 10, and we're co-coordinating a winter camp. And it's a marketing thing to trying to get the students interested in coming to school over here. So we're putting together a whole week, or 10-day program for them to participate in. So they'll visit, spend 2 days at Dexter High School, spend 2 days at Celine High School, and Ann Arbor has recently come on board, and so we'll be at Ann Arbor School. We don't know which one yet. Any other questions? Thank you.
Good work.
Thank you. Yes, excellent.
This is it.
This is it.
Action items. Can I have a motion to approve the changes to policy 1350, voting method, as submitted by the policy committee?
So moved.
Support? Discussion.
So this change is to switch from saying yes to saying aye when voting.
How do we vote on this particular?
That's a great question.
Until the motion passes.
Until it passes, we
still
vote
have to
yes.
vote yes.
It's
You knew it was
yes.
coming, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
So we had this policy change. I was reading the policy one day, noticed we should have been saying yes and doing things, so I'm not sure how long that had been in place, I think since we redid the policy manual. So every document that we do officially always asks how many aye votes and nay votes, so we thought we'd comply with the rest of the world. So all those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
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 Those opposed, hearing none, motion carries 7-0. Can I have a motion to approve the Round 1 CARES discretionary fund recommendation awarding $11,050 as submitted by Community Education Director Puffer?
So move.
Second.
Support. Second. First. Third.
I got you. I did
Right.
too.
Pass this for the second. All right, thank you. We had our first round for CARES discretionary funds. We had 2 grants submitted. As you guys can see, we had the free little libraries that was submitted by Sling Community Ed with Marcy Cameron. Basically, that grant was approved by the CARES Board for $1,050. The plan is to construct 2 little free libraries on school grounds, one by Henny Field and the other one between the community garden and Weber Bliss over there on the sidewalk. I believe there's 4 or 5 already in town, the free libraries, so this would be in conjunction with those 2 as well. So I believe when the grant goes through, it talks about it. These are registered, they're online, so it's with the same ones that are already in the city, so the plan would be to get with Rex and install those. This coming spring would be the plan for that. So that was approved, that was $1,050, that's what they applied for and received. The second one is Rec and Play equipment with Celine Parks and Recreation. I passed out a little information on how this got started. Basically, this grant was inspired by Donovan Gillow. He's now a fourth grader at Heritage. In third grade, he was basically asked by his teacher to write about something that was important to him. And basically what he chose is improving Brecken Park because it's close to his house. So he started off fundraising, raised up to $2,500 through a GoFundMe account, which has since been switched over to the city because GoFundMe takes a certain percentage. So he's raised about $2,500. So Saline Parks and Recreation came to the CARES Board asking for $10,000, and they approved it. It's a $75,000 grant. I talked to Carla today. They're basically still in the infant stages of this, and it's probably going to be another couple of years. They're going to kick off major fundraising starting in January. They're going to update the CARES Board every school. Basically our first meeting in September is kind of let us know where they're at. We've had a couple of CARES grants before that have been approved. As long as they keep us updated and spend the money within a year or two, we usually work with them. So the CARES Board, like I said, they discussed it. And they approved for $10,000. That's what we submitted, and that's what was approved. And those were the two grants. Any questions about the grants?
No, I think Donovan did a great job in presenting it several times. So.
Yeah, it sounds like he's really gotten it. So
Yeah, good for him.
So we'll have $18,950 for round two. And so we've got a couple applications already, and I know we're putting the word out there. So we'll have hopefully award $30,000 worth of grants out this year, and looking to do more next year. And Tim, thank you for coming to the meetings and attending those as well. So. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thanks, Brian. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries
I guess
7-0.
we need to work on that.
I know it's confusing,
I
but
thought you were kidding.
yeah. We're gonna get going here. Can I have a motion to approve the 2016 Board of Education meeting dates as submitted by Superintendent Graydon?
So moved. This pattern follows our board policy, which is second, fourth Tuesdays of the month, and then one meeting in July, August, and December on the second Tuesday.
And we'll be at Harvest, I think, right?
Harvest on the 22nd, and Heritage on the 22nd of March, sorry, and Heritage on the 24th of May.
And probably one other in the fall, to be determined. Spin the wheel of visiting.
Excitement.
Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries 7-0. Can I have a motion to approve the board stipends for 2015 as submitted by Superintendent Graydon?
So moved.
This just closes out the books on the 2015, this is a calendar year, because that coincides with the board terms.
And coincides with the 1099 miscellaneous form for tax season. That's great. Did anyone have any questions about the tally? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, motion carries 7-0. Can I have a motion to approve the resolution to impose a summer tax levy to collect all annual school property taxes as submitted by Assistant Superintendent Warner?
Support. This is consistent with, this is frankly what we've done every year. There's no change associated with this. We just simply need to pass a resolution.
It just really allows us to collect the money or do, correct?
Yes.
Any questions? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries 7-0. Discussion items, the Human Resources Staffing Update, Assistant Superintendent Ellis.
So thank you for the opportunity to give this brief presentation to you here this evening. As you'll recall, earlier in the school year, we were notified by Patty Haynes that she would be retiring mid-year for us, and certainly after serving in the district for as long as she has, I believe it was 1986.
I started in 1984.
Okay. We'll have to check the personnel file. It says 86, so. All this up, I see how it is. Back before the third-party stuff. So, at any rate, I won't tell you I was still in high school in '84, but we'll leave that alone. At any rate, Patty's been with us for quite some time and certainly done great work for us. But when Patty told us that she was retiring, it signaled our need to start talking about how we were going to structure ourselves organizationally to not only continue to provide the services that we have, but maybe to handle the bond as well. I can remember when the bond passed, President Heineck was very clear that the work was about to start. And so what we've done is we've made a series of changes that we hope are going to position us to handle Patty's retirement, plan for the bond, and to continue to provide great services for us. So I've kind of lumped these together in this report to you in a couple different categories here. Within food service, with Patty's retirement, what we've decided to do is to have Rex Clary assume Director of Operations, and I'll talk about that in a second. But we're going to piggyback Tracy Mulcair into that department and have her work with Rex as an operations specialist, which created a vacancy at the middle school in food service. Tracy's operated the middle school food service department for quite some time now. She's been with the district since 2001, and so Tracy's going to assume that role. Carrie O'Keefe, who worked in Tracy's absence last year when Tracy was the interim director of food service, is going to assume the role, or actually has assumed the role, of the food service manager over there at the middle school. That took place back in November 23rd. And then Heather Shar was recently named by Jim Davis, our Director of Food Service Operations, as the Heritage Food Service Manager, which will be effective on December 11th. So that'll come here next Monday. Heather's been with the district since 2011. So we really, in those three, Tracy, Heather, and Carrie O'Keefe, those are three long-standing employees in the district that we're actually able to reward for their outstanding service with opportunities for advancement, and that's something that we like to do more of as opportunities present themselves. Operationally, I mentioned that Rex is going to assume the Director of Operations, and so you say, what does that exactly mean? Well, it basically means he's going to handle grounds, custodial services, transportation, and then he's going to obviously have a big role in the bond. And he's really had an active role in all three of those things for some time now, but that will be official on January 4th. We do need to talk to Rex, and Mr. Graydon and I will handle that here shortly. Obviously, the pretty significant extension of his responsibility should be met with some change in compensation, so we will meet with him shortly to handle that up. And then on the instructional side of things, as you'll know, we added Alex Shuko to the district over at Heritage Elementary. Heritage was designed and opened as a building with two administrators. It had a principal and an assistant principal in it. We had been without the assistant principal for some time. And this last summer, we were able to bring Alex on board, and Alex serves kind of a dual role. He serves as the assistant principal there as well as a special education coordinator. So we provide some support services to special education at that building level. Ashley Ulmer, who has served as the program assistant here in community ed, will be moving over into the special ed department to become a special education assistant effective January 4th. For those of you that I know you've all been out in our buildings and whatnot, we do a lot with the little and special education around here, and that support has been really needed. Mr. Musson and his staff do a great job with that, but having another set of hands in that department is really critical for us. And then the last piece I wanted to bring to your attention tonight is we've also tasked Mr. Raft, the middle school principal, with a more prominent role in the bond oversight than maybe some of our other administrators will have. Certainly all administrators will have a role. I saw Heather come in with her Florida tan after being with the marching band, but technology, she'll have a role. But Mr. Raft has had previous experience working with bonds, and for those of you that know Mr. Raft, he's got a level of attention to detail that is the envy of a lot of us. There won't be any wrong color blues showing up on anything Raft around. So those moves, again, the themes that we try to do, we wanted to make sure we could continue to provide outstanding service. We wanted to make sure that we utilize our resources as well as we can. And we are really tickled with the opportunity to allow people the opportunity for advancement. You don't see that a lot in K-12 environments. There just aren't. There's one superintendent. So if you have 10 people that aspire to be that, you're going to have 9 disappointed folks down the road. But in this case, we've had the opportunity to recognize and reward several individuals in the district with opportunities for advancement. And so we're really excited about that. Lastly but not least, I think if you look at these different changes, you'll notice that they're FTE neutral. And so what we've really done is kind of reallocate resources in a way that we think is going to position us to be successful as we transition into this next phase of the district. So certainly entertain any questions that you might have.
I just want to applaud you for being able to cultivate from within and train people to give them opportunities here. That speaks well for the administration. You're giving them the ability to do that, and they have the skills to do it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kurt.
Thank you.
Update on bond planning, Superintendent Grady.
Yeah, just wanted to give everyone an update. As many of you know, we received, we had RFPs, requests for proposal out for architectural engineering services and construction management services. They were due back last Friday. We received 4 applications or 4 bids for architectural engineering and 4 bids for construction management. We are in the process of reviewing those proposals over the weekend. I know some of you were able to review those and offer feedback as well. We've got it down to 2 interviewees in the architectural area. GMB and King Scott will be interviewed, one at 4 p.m. and one at 5:30 p.m. And then at 7 p.m. we'll get started with the construction manager, Spence Brothers, and then at 8:30, Clark Construction will be interviewed. So we'll be doing that in room 33. I encourage board members who are able to be there for all or part of those. We have a series of questions that we have asked them to do. They're going to have an opportunity to provide us with about a 20-minute overview of what services they would expect to provide and kind of what that we should know about their organizations, and then we have an opportunity for some Q&A based on their proposals. Some had specific information, like King Scott, about the work to be done. We have specific questions for them, a little bit broader questions for some of the others. So we'll be doing that, and we hope to come out of that with some consensus around one of each of those, and then talk about getting together with the board to authorize us. Depending on how we go, we do plan to try and meet with, and specifically from a design standpoint, the architect engineering group the week before, after school gets out, but before the Christmas holidays, so the 21st, 22nd, we'd like to be able to roll up our sleeves and get to work. And the concern we have right now with a lot of the project for the summer isn't necessarily whether or not they can be constructed in the summertime, is how quickly can we get them designed effectively so that we can get our bids out so that we can have them constructed. So we really are trying to move the needle in those areas. So that planning is taking place. In addition to that, we've been touring, Patty, Rex, and Patrick Edwards and I visited a bus facility last week. I'm looking at some alternative energy, alternative fuel buses, and the design around that, whether or not that makes sense for the district. We're continuing to evaluate that. We had 2 more traditional buses in and looking at that, trying to, again, get a sense of what do new buses look like. Patty's been kind of shaking her head a little bit after having not seen new buses in a while, kind of looking at new buses and the concept of ordering something with options and deciding what you want and don't want. A whole new world that's out there. So again, it's an opportunity for us, and it's a new learning opportunity for us. We also have had we had a security consultant in last week, and Kurt and I had a chance to meet with them and talk with them about really not only do we feel like we need to have an architect that understands the design of space, but we want to have someone that really looks at it from a true security standpoint. I think our parents and our families, one of the things around these designs when I went out and talked about it was, do we want a buzzer system? Do we want one buzzer system? And one of the things that rang true as we talked to them is about, and these are 3 former Secret Service guys who have developed this this niche market to say this is something we want to make sure we have fortified entrances that don't look fortified, and how do you go about doing that, and what are the aspects from an operational side that you don't install a $500,000 doorbell. And so often we've been in districts and situations where it feels like there's a lot of technology on the front end and a lot of fancy security equipment on the front end, but if it's really just someone turning around, not looking at the door and pressing the button to open the door, you really have spent a lot of money to give them the facade and the idea of security versus real security. So we're committed to really having this facility designed, but also then allowing to make sure that there's operational training that's a component to that, so that not only with some of the new technology and design that we have, we know how to use it, and we design it in such a way looking from the inside out versus just always thinking about keeping the outside from coming in. So that's where we're at. It's been a busy time since that. It's only going to get busier, so we're excited about that. Any questions about where the bond planning is at?
I will note that the bids all came in within the parameters of what we had worked up for the bond proposal, which is indicative of the great pre-work that we did for stuff. So I think we're
it's nice to see. That was one of the, that was kind of telling in a sense. We were very pleased with that. Also to note, of the 4, we received 8 quality bids. All the bids we had were of quality in our mind, and they were all very similar in terms of their cost. So it feels like The RFPs were written well, the folks who bid on them knew what they were bidding on, and frankly, we feel like we got a fairly fair market rate based on the fact that all 8 entities bid very similarly on the work, so we're comfortable with that.
Okay, special education millage, Superintendent Grady.
Yeah, I had shared some information last week. The WIC actually tonight is considering an issue related to the special education millage renewal that potentially could be on the ballot in May, as well as a potential increase. And I don't want to say too much because I know they have not yet acted on it or provided some direction, but I wanted to share the Act 18 millage that is levied at the county level is currently being levied, and again, pardon me, it's kind of complex here. Janice shared some information. I was able to share that out earlier today. Just under 4 mills is collected 3.87. It's a function of Headley rollback on that. Bottom line scenario is that they're looking at potentially adding a 1.5 mil increase to the special education millage for will be on the May 2016 ballot. And so the county has asked us to be aware of it, to understand that it's out there, and they may be asking us to act on a resolution associated with the renewal and the increase and/or one or the other or neither. So I wanted to share some information tonight. I think the one thing that I've heard loud and clear from board members is the question of, particularly for Saline, it may be unique to Saline, is that we just passed a bond issue. Our voters turned out and supported a 1 mil increase, and this would be considered an additional increase for that. Prior to the summer tax, both issues would occur and be levied in the summer tax levy. So it's something we need to consider. I wanted to look at it through a variety of different ways, and I encourage you to take a look at Janice's information because, I don't know how well I can speak to it in some ways. But to note, I did pass out, she referenced that she was waiting for some information. We did receive some information from the WISD in terms of what would that 1.5 mil increase mean for Saline area schools in real dollars. And so the thing that I just passed out shows, and again, we always look kind of backwards to look forward with the reimbursement, so they take the previous year's reimbursement. But if you just get right to the end, essentially what it would mean if it were to be, would pass, we would move from, and again, I'm going to go with essentially a modified version of a 70% reimbursement based on money that's been lump sum delivered to the district as well as an annual reimbursement rate, and would move it really to roughly 100%, 98 to 100% reimbursement. I'll understand if the village were to raise more dollars than 100% reimbursement, you can't be reimbursed more than 100%. It would just go back to that. But you're going around about a $2.8 million number in terms of additional revenue to go back to cover our special education costs. And ultimately, from the way that would flow through is that ultimately right now those funds are covered by our general fund. And so they would be going back to reimburse special ed costs. That would then reduce our contribution from our general fund to cover special education services specifically. So bottom line, it would mean about a $2.8 million issue.
So that's what the 2.8 million, that would be?
That would be the additional amount. So currently, if you look at it, we receive about 5.4 million, and then again, it's hard to say. There's a revenue number, and then the reimbursement's based on actual expenses previous year. So the expense number isn't tied to the revenue number, so they're separate from that. So for example, if for some reason across the county, districts started spending a lot more on special education services, the reimbursement rate could drop dramatically based on, so it's not as though the revenues and the expenses are going to tie out. It's an expense reimbursement number, not a revenue pass-through number from a tax standpoint.
Which is a little concerning, do we have, is there any kind of, I don't want to say auditing of other districts? How do we know that they're being frugal or, being careful with?
We don't.
Yeah.
I think that's well said.
We don't.
Well said. Yeah, that is, I'll be frank, and I think, and Janice kind of articulated, one of the things that we continue to be concerned, we want to make sure that